Welcome to Sensible Health Solutions, the show where we simplify health and wellness. Join your hosts, Hallie Fields and Dr. Scott Luper, as they share practical tips and expert insight to help you navigate common ailments, nutrition, and overall well-being. Tune in for straightforward advice that empowers you to live a healthier life.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Luper. How are you?
Tip top.
Good. Glad to hear. Well, something I thought that comes up so frequently in our clinic here is the immune system. And almost everything we see our patients suffering from is due to some kind of breakdown in the immune system.
So often, yeah.
Yeah. I had a receptionist just the other day ask, where is the immune system? What is the immune system? So I think that
I like it that she's got questions.
I do
She's
too.
Hungry for knowledge.
Yeah. So
Let's do a show on immune system.
yeah,
then.
the immune system is basically a bunch of pieces.
Yeah, the problem with this subject is it's too big. In order to do this justice, we actually, because we have a half-hour format, we're going to have to do an hour. We should just bust it up into 2 half hours, but this is a two show topic.
Uh-huh.
So, and the thing I want to do is talk about the immune system and its various parts, of which there are scads. I'm not going to talk about everything because there'd be no way. We don't have a week to do this thing. So, but we'll get the big picture on this thing, and then we're going to focus on ways to get it to work better. Now, yes, I know, in the end, it's going to boil down to eat right and exercise.
Really?
Again.
Okay, so maybe we
There's
don't
some details
need to talk
along
for
the
30
way. The
minutes
mechanism.
or an hour about this.
All right. Well, let's talk about the immune system in kind of a big picture, just kind of satellite view, looking down right on the Earth. And the immune system is really divided into 2 main categories. The stuff that just helps protect us. It's called the innate immune system. It's stuff that our body just does that just keeps the bacteria out or kills them when they get in without having anything special, just stuff, right? Sticks and stones and machine guns. That's what our body has to be able to take stuff down. The other part of this is the fancy schmancy, new modern version of immune system. That's it's an adaptive immune system. And that's the part where we can get exposed to something that's clever, manages to penetrate our defenses, and we still got a defense. That's the more, interesting, complex, special part of our immune system. It's the newest part of our immune system. Back in the old days, we didn't have that. Mm-hmm. Our ancient ancestors didn't have an adaptive immune system, but now we do, so we're better than we ever were before. But let's go back and talk about the basic, protections that we have. And you could kind of think, if we pause for a second to think, how do we protect ourselves from bacteria? It's pretty obvious what we got. Let me just go over the short list here. We got skin. Mm-hmm. And I got to tell you right now that is absolutely the most important defense against infection we have.
Our skin.
Absolutely. Yeah, it protects us more than anything.
Our meat suit.
Yeah, it really goes a long way into protecting us. Now, the skin's got some specialized areas, the moist areas. So we have mucous membranes, and we have, a variety of different kind of mucous membranes, some super specialty mucous membranes that produce acid, which is a protective element to our immune system. They break food down, they absorb nutrients. So there's some real, action going on. But all that has elements to it that just keep the bacteria out. So, so let's just do a deep dive in that one. We'll come back to the other stuff later.
We can start.
Yeah, we start on this one. How to keep your immune system working well. So skin is made up of cells and stuff.
Cells and stuff.
Stuff is super important. Now, we think about the cells because there's skin cells, right?
Can we specify
Is there
what
anything
the
else? What do you
stuff
mean
is?
stuff? Yeah, what stuff we talking about? Well, the skin
Fat.
cells, think of it like this. When I grew up, there was a particular kind of bathroom tile that was hexagonal. These little hexagonal tiles that were tiny and kind of all fit in each other on the bathroom floor, and they all had grout in between the cracks. That is very much like what our skin is. Now, of course, the cells are way smaller than the bathroom towels, but it's the same kind of thing. They're cells with grout. And so what this does is it creates, each cell is pretty stiff, but you have, a million of them in a little area, and they hold together tight, but they're flexible because they bend. At the grout angles, they're a little bit flexible. So that allows our skin, you can pull it and you can, move it, and it holds it together. It doesn't fall apart. So that's how skin is. The outer, their skin's constantly making new inner layers and losing the outer layers, just as a way to just kind of keep everything fresh.
Yeah.
We're kind of renewing ourselves every day with our skin. And there's stuff that helps glue the cells together. One of the key elements, functionally super important, is oil.
Yes.
Our skin, in order for it to work right, needs to have oil that holds these cells together.
And in Alaska, or in Fairbanks at least, where it's so incredibly dry, it's really important that we consume oil.
Yeah, more than most places.
Yep.
Fairbanks, since we do, we live here and we do the show here.
And it's such an active place. Like, you have to be active to live here.
And you do, to
And
be
enjoy
happy.
it. Yeah, and enjoy it, yep.
So there's a lot of opportunities to do stuff here, but in order to do stuff, oftentimes you have to go outside.
Yep.
And it is dry here. When the temperature gets low, it freezes the moisture out of the air. And so we have some of the driest air on the planet.
And then in the summer, it's also really dry. Like, Alaska itself, or Fairbanks itself, is considered an Arctic desert.
Weird, because there are big pools of muddy water out in the forests
I know.
breeding mosquitoes by the millions as we speak. So there's some complexity to this thing. The fact of the matter, though, is you really get down to just measuring the amount of moisture in the air that's really low here. And so our skin in Fairbanks, but all across the world, depends on oil. In some places, you just got to chug it. You just got to bring it in to get enough oil in
Or
your
eat
system.
it. Cook with it.
What most people do to keep their skin healthy is they put, not most people, many people do is to keep their skin healthy is they apply lotion. Lotion's got some element of oil.
Sure, but it also has alcohol in it.
Yeah. which lets the lotion dry. Let me say it lets it dry so you don't feel greasy. But then it also dries out your skin. So lotion makes your skin feel better, but then ultimately dries it out. It's a racket.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you feel better at first, and then you feel worse later. Yeah, it was the same system of Mop and Glow. See, I'm old enough to know what Mop and Glow is.
Yeah.
I don't think Mop and Glow is even on the market anymore.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it was a thing that you squirted on your floor, and then you mopped your floor,
And
it glowed with shiny goodness. It was fabulous. It also was rather sticky.
And then it took on all of the dust and dirt.
And in a day or two, it would have a dirty nap
Yeah.
to it. You'd lose that glow.
No
and then you'd have to
wonder.
squirt it again, and it would break it down and make a new one. And it was just this thing you could do. You could have your floor be shiny, but you still had to be on top of it. It was a lifestyle. It's the same thing with lotion. Your skin feels great for a little while, and then it dries it out actually more. The better thing to do in reality is to chug fish oil. It's a hard sell because most people don't want to chug oil to get it into their skin.
Or chia oil.
Yeah, fish oil is a classic one for this one. Chia oil, we have discovered, is as good, if not better.
Yep.
So we've carried it here in the clinic now.
Yep.
And we like it. So the price is half of what fish oil is, and it seems to work just as well. The taste is a little bit better. Fish oil is not particularly bad. They put lemon in it to make it
The lemon
palatable.
masks it, and then if you put it in smoothies, it's pretty.
Yeah, it
you know,
hides.
zesty.
It hides pretty nicely. Or you just take it on a spoon. That's what we end up doing at our house. We just take it on a spoon
Rowdy.
on a regular basis. Yeah,
So-
particularly when it's cold dry.
Skin health is very important to the immune system.
Yes, it is, and not only skin health, the skin, but also our internal skin, the mucous membranes inside our body, need to have health, and it's the same story for them. They need oil too. They need oil for them to work. We also get people lots and lots of sinus problems, where the sinus get dry, and they get irritable, and they get infected, and they get all kinds of problems. And so it's better
was
to
having
chug
bloody
fish oil. Yeah, it turns
noses.
out to be the thing to do. They get bloody noses here,
Yeah.
as common as can be.
That was happening this spring, like end of March, April, just bloody noises whenever I'd get in the shower, whenever
run-
the humidity would
Yeah,
hit
people
it.
run out of oil because it's hard to keep up on that discipline of drinking oil every day.
Yep.
The natives had oil as part of their diet. They had seal oil and other kinds of blubber and stuff like that. So they were naturally getting lots of oil in. Our modern lifestyle doesn't have that much seal oil and blubber in it, and so we have to make do as best we can. But if you can get access to seal oil and blubber, it'll work fine. Really, for sure, it will.
So, other than keeping a healthy skin system...
Yeah, no, let's go back to the digestive system, because that's the weak link.
There it is.
Yeah, because the digestive system is you're taking food that's got bacteria on it and viruses embedded in it, and then you're biting it, chewing up, and swallowing it. That is definitely a route of entry. And so there's a real danger, more than most things, of getting some kind of infection from the stuff that you eat. And we, even with all our precautions and modern lifestyle to keep food clean, we still get food-borne illnesses occasionally, salmonella and whatever, stuff like that. And so our number one defense, is acid bath. That is part of our innate immune system. Yeah, you give me a look like, acid bath? What is this acid bath you speak of?
It's called that's just happening in our digestive system.
It's not your stomach. So you take food, you eat it. Yeah. It's got bacteria on it. Because it just does. We live in the planet Earth. There's bacteria all over the place. And then it goes through this acid bath, and the bacteria doesn't like the acid, so most of the bacteria just die. They just get eradicated. 98%, 99%, some huge percentage of the amount of bacteria we take in gets killed by an acid bath. But now this is problematic. So many people are on acid blockers.
Oh.
And so their acid bath is weak. They depend on the cleanliness of the food system.
And why are they on acid bath or acid blockers?
Yeah, that's a good question. Because they have heartburn.
Oh.
So if you get heartburn and you feel that acid bubbling up from your stomach, the first thing you're going to think is, I got too much acid. Clearly, I have so much acid, my acid's bubbling up, and so we got to block this acid. It's common sense. We got too much acid, we just got to block it. And so they invented these pills that block acid. There's different kinds. Well, Tums will quench the acid, doesn't block the acid production. Omeprazole is the famous one. That's what most people are on. And omeprazole literally decreases the amount of acid your stomach produces.
But if you're decreasing the amount of acid, you're decreasing your stomach's ability to digest food, which is then creating a lot of yummy, rotten material in your stomach that bad bacteria can feed on and infect and then inflame your immune system.
Yeah. So if there's leftover food that's making it down to your lower intestine, that's bad.
Yeah.
Now, there's going to be some leftovers of some sort because we can't digest everything we eat. We can't digest the fiber. We don't have the enzymes for it. So even if we could extract every last little scrap of nutrients from our food, there's going to be this residue. And the residue goes down the lower intestine and feeds the beneficial bacteria. They make short-chain fatty acids. We eat the short-chain fatty acids. They're happy. We're happy. Everyone's happy. The whole system works great. But if you eat something that's just hard to digest, like pepperoni or pizza or I don't know what, something, and then whatever, and undigested bits, you make it to the lower intestine, that's free food. And the bugs that live there are going to eat it. And we're going to have more bacteria in our guts.
What might you recommend in contrast to an acid blocker to alleviate the buildup of acid?
So that's a good question. It's another show, but let's go ahead and do a touch upon this one. So we really want acid, so we want the acid to come back. Now, if you go off your acid blocker, you're going to get heartburn on steroids. You're going to get worse heartburn than you ever got because you're going to get what's known as a rebound.
Oh.
Your body wants to make acid.
And it produces too much?
It bounces back up. So it's a tricky thing to do. Once you're on these things, it's really hard to stop. And everyone knows, at least everyone who makes these things, that they're bad for you. There's a warning on the box that don't use this more than 3 weeks. And the reason for that is because it's bad for you. It's bad for you because you can get an infection. Your acid bath isn't working anymore, so now you've lost an element of your armor against infection. Now, not to say that everyone who is on an acid blocker gets an infection, but a goodly number will. The percentage goes up. The chances of you getting an infection goes higher than it would be otherwise. So also your chances of getting, pneumonia for good and sufficient reasons, kidney problems, IBS, osteoporosis. There's a bunch of stuff goes up when you're on these acid blockers. So if you want to actually get off the acid blocker, what you need to do is you need to stop the fermentation of carbohydrates in your gut. Because what that's doing is making foam. And the foam is doing what foam does, which is rises to the top. I mean, if you've ever had a beer, the foam doesn't go to the bottom.
Yeah.
It goes to the top. That's what it
Bubbles
does.
rise.
It goes to the top.
So would that be just limiting your amount of carbohydrates?
Yeah, it's just good. It's not, again, it's another show. That's one thing you could do. There's other things you could do, but we won't go into the whole detail. We'll just have to say people.
We'll just go back to the immune system.
The way you do is you do stuff that gets rid of the fermentation of carbohydrates. So now you're not making foam anymore. Now, because the foam is the problem. It's not the acid. The acid's fine. You don't.
You want
maybe
that.
1 case in 100 has too much acid. The other 99 people don't have too much acid. What they have is too much foam. And so the mistake is made to treat everyone like they have too much acid, which is a mistake. The better thing to do is to treat everyone like they have too much foam. And then the occasional person who's got too much acid, you just catch. But the foam is the problem. So you decrease the production of foam by making sure no nutrients make it down into your lower intestine. That's the other show, how to do that. Anyways, you do that. And then at that point, you can go off your acid blocker. And you have no pain whatsoever, no suffering. Seriously, we do it all the time. It's like not a week that goes by we don't do 2 or 3 cases like that.
Right.
We clear people up routinely. Somebody comes in the door with that kind of problem, I just go, woo, easy. That one's in the bag, right?
Yeah.
And then I feel good about this whole thing because I've just increased people's innate immunity. I decrease the chances of them picking up an infection.
Yes.
And we get a better version of them. They make better bones. Their kidneys function better. Their digestive system functions better. Their immune system generally is tuned up in lots and lots of ways. This acid thing turns out to be super important to get your digestive system to work well.
So if they aren't producing enough acid, then to support their immune system, then you can help them produce more acid by giving them herbs, supplements.
Or just acid.
Okay.
What you do is you give them a weak acid, and so it helps. Most of the time people are using apple cider vinegar.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why apple cider vinegar works, because you're actually enhancing your acid production. And you're just adding acid to the system so you get better digestion. If you can get better digestion, you can get
Would kombucha
less
be
foam.
similar?
Yes, kombucha is one of those things.
Cool.
That'll work.
And is that like an everyday thing, or is that like a once every other day thing?
Depends.
Okay.
Depends. Some people don't need any. It turns out to be something that hurts them. Not everybody
Right.
does well in kombucha or apple cider vinegar.
Well, I really enjoy kombucha. I love the flavor. I love drinking it.
Lots of people need it.
But
They do better. It enhances
too
their health.
much of a good thing
Yeah,
can
it
be
could
a bad
be a
thing.
problem. Yeah, it could get too much acid.
Yeah.
What I mostly use is not kombucha or apple cider vinegar. What I use is betaine hydrochloride. They're these little capsules, and I like them. They're safe. People can adjust the dose. Pills, people tend to like the pills more than doing other stuff. I hate pills personally, but the world around me
They
loves
want
them.
to feel like they're doing something. Yeah.
And so we have people take acid pills, and there's a number of people. I'm getting a little sidetracked here. There's a number of people that don't absorb iron very well. They don't get enough iron to build their blood, and they're chronically anemic. And I've had maybe half a dozen of these cases over my career, and what I end up having to do with them is put them on acid. That improves the absorption of the iron, and it takes care of the anemia. So it's a thing.
Yeah.
That's not common, but it's a thing that shows up, enough times that I've seen a few cases. And those people definitely need to be on acid. So the other thing to consider with this digestive system is mucus is another important element of our protection, because our mucous membranes make mucus. That's why they're called mucous membranes. And mucus is goo. So imagine I'm a cell, and you're a pathogen. Yeah, I want to push you away. Except for I don't have any arms, because I'm a cell, right? There's no arms here. So how do I push you away? I exude goo.
You build a barrier.
I get a goo blob, and the goo blob pushes you away. Now you can't get through because you're also cell, and the goo turns out to be super effective strategy of keeping us apart.
And it's thick, and
you get trapped, and then boop, off you go, because the outer part of the glue blob falls away and goes down into the lower intestine, carrying you with it. I'm safe, you're gone. So mucus turns out to be a super important element to this thing. So what do you do about mucus? I mean, how can you make mucus? The answer is, if you can send more blood to your digestive system, then your digestive system does everything better, including making mucus, because everything it does depends on blood. I mean, it needs materials to make the stuff out of. It needs oxygen to make the energy, the ATP, to generate the motive force to be able to accomplish anything. All this depends on blood. So with blood flow comes life, comes happiness and health. And so you need to increase blood flow. So how do you increase blood flow to your digestive system?
If you say exercise.
Well, that would actually do it. Yes, you're right. Exercise is helpful. Sleep is super helpful because that's when most of this healing and repair takes place, is at nighttime. The other thing is, if you can just, if you can, the thing about exercise is it helps get rid of the stress chemicals. Stress chemicals are one of the number one causes of low blood flow to your digestive system. Because if you got a lot of stress going on, your body doesn't need to digest your food. This is a low priority element. What you need to do is run from the bear.
Right. So the blood is going to the muscles and going to the liver to process.
Digestive system goes on low.
Yeah.
Everything else gets turned up high. Whoop, just turned up high. And now you're running, fighting, climbing trees, doing stuff like that. And this is great. The system's working great. Except for in our modern life, we're fighting bears every day.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, over and over.
Well, and we're doing it voluntarily. Like, we want to fight the bears. Like, we've been trained at this point to constantly be fighting a bear.
There's a cultural element to this.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't, it's not necessarily, here's the thing, everybody thinks stress is a killer. And admit it is, but it doesn't have to be. As long as you take physical action and you enjoy the enlightenment and the liveliness that comes from, having an interesting life, it turns out to be great. You can actually come up with a better life. So I'm not a fan of low stress life. Now, a lot of times with patients, I try to figure out how to ways to add stress to their life. They need more stress, and more stress gives them a better life. I don't use the word stress because it's not very popular for me to say you need more stress.
Excitement.
I say interest. You need more challenge. You need more stuff like that.
Stimulation.
Yeah, stimulation. And so what you need to do, though, is you need to take physical action.
Mm-hmm.
And the physical action will work out the stress chemicals. They'll get them out of circulation.
Mm-hmm.
And so then blood flow restores to your digestive system and everything runs better. You get a better version of yourself based on the fact that you got stimulated and then you conquered and then you go back to having everything run great and it runs better for having gone through the whole experience. So you're right. In a word, that's called exercise, by the way, in a word. But there's a mindset that goes with it too, because if the stress is coming in hot and heavy and you're into overwhelm, this is poison. Overwhelm is poison, ain't no doubt about it. But if you feel enlightened from this whole thing, you feel enlivened from this whole thing, you feel like I got a better life because I'm bungee jumping, right? Off the bridge. Wah! I can't wait for the next one, right?
Right.
Still be excited about it. Good. Far out. Excellent. Bungee jumping is not for everyone, admittedly. It's a pretty intense sport to be able to do, but you could ride a bike. That's also exciting. I mean, you could go 60 miles an hour down a hill in a tuck. That's basically bungee jumping.
So exciting. Did that one this winter. Don't know if I'll do that one again.
Or just, along the bike path. That's nice too. It's enlivening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting and it wakes you up and your body feels better for it. And what you get is better digestion. See, we're mixing up the conversation about the immune system with how to fix it. Mm-hmm. So if we can get the innate immune system to work better, if our skin is more healthy, if our digestive system lining is more healthy, the mucus that our body produces to protect us is ample, and the acid that our body produces to protect us is ample, we get a better life. And our immune system runs great. And people keep thinking, I need to take an herb or something. I mean, I love herbs. We do herbs every day.
Love herbs.
Herbs are great. But in this case, it's not really about the herbs. It's more about just the lifestyle. And yeah, it boils down to eat right and exercise. But there's elements more to that. If we can get into where exactly the system is broken, then we can figure out exactly where to go in to fix it. And we do the assist. Sometimes herbs are the thing to do. Sometimes other stuff is that's not herbs, like betaine hydrochloride or apple cider vinegar or fish oil or chia oil.
Or vitamin D.
Yeah, or vitamin D. That's another thing. Vitamin D is super important for regulating the immune system. It just is one of those things. But vitamin D is not really a vitamin. Just if we discovered is the word. If we discovered vitamin D today, there's like, wow, look, there's this thing. No one would call it a vitamin because it's a hormone. It works like a hormone. It does hormone stuff.
Wow.
It just happens to be a weird hormone that needs light to activate it. We make the pro-hormone, the pre-hormone. It's in our skin. Light shines on our skin, does a conversion, and now we get our hormone that way. It's kind of a weird system, but it's what we inherited. That's how it works. And so we just happened to find it at a time when people were calling things vitamins instead of calling them hormones. But it is really a hormone is what it is, and it does what hormones do. It regulates stuff. And the main thing that vitamin D regulates, what's famous for is regulating the absorption of calcium for our bones. And that's an important task it does, one of about 1,000. The other, 600 things it does relates to immune system function. It regulates immune system function. Let me just give you some basics. If you take vitamin D, the chances of you getting a cold or a flu goes down about 70%.
Wow.
That's a big number.
Yeah.
Really? I mean, that's a huge thing. That's a very important public health, factoid.
If you take vitamin D, your risk of getting sick goes down by 70%.
70%.
Wow.
Yeah, this is out of doing research in northern climates. Now, in the tropics, this research doesn't pan out because everybody's getting sun all the time. Anyway, everybody's vitamin D levels are fine. But in the north, particularly in the wintertime, we don't get any vitamin D. So we really run the risk of getting low at vitamin D. And so those people, the ones that are low vitamin D, you can do research on those, bring the vitamin D up and see what good it does them because it's super helpful. So this is a very important conversation for people here in Fairbanks or Alaska or Oregon and Washington for that matter, in the northern latitudes. For people in Mexico, not so much. They could stay inside all the time and wear lots of clothes and skin sun blockers. Those people are going to be at risk too because they're living in the shadows all the time. But if you're just a regular person going out without sun blockers and you're getting sun, you're getting conversion. It's fine. You're going to get enough sun. Sunny places, this really isn't an issue. Vitamin D deficiency is rare when you get into the southern latitudes. So the system works great. It's just that we moved far north of Africa. We've challenged our system. Okay, let me go back to the digestive system and the innate elements in there and how to get them to work better. There is one herb, I kind of poo-pooed the herb thing. There's one herb I do want to talk about, and that's echinacea. Echinacea is a famous herb, and it's not really that good. It's not particularly helpful. Yeah, I don't hardly ever use it.
Stimulating the immune system response?
Yeah, you think how many...
Yeah, I see echinacea tea, echinacea and all this immune support.
Yeah, and you dig with Dr. Luper, how come we don't use echinacea?
Echinacea and elderberry.
Elderberry I love. We'll come back to elderberry.
Yeah.
I do use elderberry. But echinacea is a one-trick pony. Here's what it does.
What does it do?
It prevents the absorption or the entry of viruses in particular into mucous membranes. So it helps block virus absorption. That is a very useful thing because if you get some sort of, exposure to viruses in the winter, because everybody's coughing on you, right?
Sure.
And then you get exposed to it and then you soak it up and now you're sick. If you can actually block that to begin with, then you don't even get sick to begin with.
But what if your mucous membrane is weak to begin with?
Then you're going to be at increased risk for getting sick, for sure.
So echinacea wouldn't be helpful at that point.
Well, no, echinacea still is helpful. I mean, in fact, maybe it might be more helpful because if you got a strong mucous membrane, plenty of mucus, plenty of resistance, you got fish oil in there, the stuff's having a hard time penetrating, then you got a good protection. So if you have echinacea, you get even better protection. But if you have weak protection to begin with, you get echinacea. That's where it really makes the biggest difference. Seriously, that's what will help you the most. Those are the people that help the most. Now, here's the problem with this, and I'm sure you figured it out already in your mind. You have to take it before you get sick.
Yeah.
That's
it's not
the rub.
something you take at time of sick.
So by the time people get to us, it's too late.
Yes.
The ability of echinacea to really have done much is already come and gone.
They need to take it as a preventative herb
Yes.
continuously. So
No, it's bad because when you take it continuously, your body gets used to it and it doesn't work anymore. It works because it's novel.
So
When you first take it, it works best. If you take it longer, it works least. If you take it always, it basically doesn't do anything.
So you would just need to time it maybe around flu season.
There's the rub on this one.
Okay.
Tricky.
Yeah.
No, it's the kind
and
of
then
thing
how
where
long is too long? If you were taking it for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, is that too long? Does that build up resistance in your immune system? Okay.
no, you're beginning to.
Dr. Luper, I think we have run out of time for this episode.
Well, we knew we would.
Yep.
We didn't even talk about the adaptive immune system. But when we do that on the next show, we'll review the innate and then start going into the next, more advanced version of our immune system. Woo! I'm excited.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Sensible Health Solutions. We hope you found today's discussion enlightening and packed with practical tips to enhance your wellness journey. Remember, small changes can lead to big results. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback helps us bring you the best content possible. Stay connected with us on social media for more health insights and updates. You can find us at Sensible Health Solutions across all social platforms. Until next time, stay sensible and stay healthy. This content is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Seek medical advice from a healthcare professional for any medical conditions.